All right, welcome to North Hudson Public Works Committee meeting on Tuesday, June 18, 2019 at 5:31 PM. Call to order, roll call, please.
Chair Pike,
Here.
Trustee Head,
Here.
Trustee Matz,
Here.
Item number 2, approve the minutes from the May 21, 2019 Public Works meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the May 21, 2019 Public Works meeting.
I second.
Any discussion, any changes? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is comments from the floor, and the floor looks empty. Item number 4, need a motion to recess.
I'm motion that we recess and reconvene at Galahad Road near the shopyards to gather information regarding the drainage issues. We'll return to the Village Hall upon completion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we'll be back here in about 30 minutes. All right.
All right.
Need a motion to reconvene.
Move to reconvene our Public Works meeting at the Village Hall at 5:55 PM.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item 6, Galahad Road North drainage issues, discussion and possible recommendation.
Should recap what we just saw.
So, okay, yeah, we went down to the shop yards and then walked out to Galahad to see where the drainage problems were and how that, and then we spoke a little bit briefly about how it affected some of the neighbors and could have affected them worse if Gary Zappa had not come in and helped out with getting the water to move down the road, down the ditch, I should say, further. We have a ditch on the east, right? East side of Galahad that is all grown over, some of it's flat. There is a drain all the way down at Wisconsin. I mean, if the ditch were graded out and cleaned out, the water could run from the shop yards to the ditch and all the way down to that, what do you call that? Storm drain? Storm drain. So that's one option. And then we looked at what is described, at least on our maps, as a pond. Is that considered the north pond?
Yeah, well, there's one farther to the north,
Okay, the middle,
the middle one, I guess.
I guess it's a middle pond, which is supposed to be 1 foot deep, I guess. And we're thinking, well, there are thoughts that there's sediment sitting in there. You can see it on the ground now. It's caked. The ground isn't, it was frozen, first of all, when we got those big storms. And so it wasn't really receptive to draining itself. Plus there's silt in there. So I think that kind of describes it. And then the question is, what do we do to fix it? Gary has done some preliminary work on it. There's a pipe that runs through a berm, and now he's put an upspout on it. So the only problem I have personally with that is the water was running pretty hard, and it was going right up and over the little berm. So I'm not sure if that little pipe would have kept up with that particular weather issue that we had last winter, or spring. So, anything else? Does that summarize it?
Yes.
Okay, so the question is what to do. Thoughts?
Well, I don't know. As an armchair engineer, I don't know, this year, I say we dig the pond out a little more, berm it a little more, and put it in the budget next year to do something more permanent.
I think do both. I think we should do the ditch with leaving some foliage screening remaining on to that storm drain.
About the screening, wasn't it stated that they would put pine trees to keep the people on Galahad from having to look into the shop yards?
I know there was some discussion on the northern part that's adjacent to where the trail is,
Yeah, I think that's.
some screening trees.
But it wasn't for the whole shop yard.
Yeah, not that I remember. Yeah,
Can we look into that? Because somebody mentioned that to me, and I said, well, I know they did some, but I don't know that if they were supposed to do all.
yeah.
So it is kind of an unsightly ditch, which we all recognize, a lot of buckthorn growing in there. Patrick's crew has tried to do some mowing, which is almost impossible in there. And again, buckthorn is all over the place, up and down that whole strip.
Yep.
And we do have an ordinance that says we're supposed to get rid of, I think, the buckthorn, if I remember correctly. So there's a combination of things we could either do, just the pond and some berming. But I kind of agree with Kathy on the ditch is in need of something. It's one of our most expensive areas in the village, and it's one of the skinniest roads in the village. And
I
when
think
you
the
say,
grading and cleanup would be a great beginning to
Okay.
looking at that area.
so how do we go about getting the grading and cleanup done? I mean, what does that involve? Does that involve getting a contractor to come in
Yeah,
and costing it out for us and saying, okay?
yeah, and we can.
Does it involve Kevin getting, Kevin, if we're gonna go as far as grading, we're gonna wanna make sure the grade runs the right direction so the water can make, is there a drain the other direction? I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, not to the north,
Not to the
There's
north?
nothing Up there, I don't think,
No.
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 Okay.
We'd have to go to the south, yep.
So we have to go to the south, go towards Lake Malibu on the eastern side of Galahad North.
Right.
And did you say, Kevin, that we may or may not be able to tie into that existing storm sewer because it's a private one?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, we might be better just to go farther down to the south end,
Okay,
right down by Wisconsin Street, because there is a catch basin that's in place already.
okay.
So I think that's probably the best
I
route
would
to go.
definitely wanna avoid that temporary one. I'm not sure how long that's even gonna be there.
Yeah, that thing
I
has been
still don't
there from
understand why it's there, but
day one. It's been out there.
it's just been there forever. And
Yep.
we don't, it's not our responsibility even, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Private.
we wanna go to where it's our responsibility.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
On the way, when we were ending over there, I was talking to Gary Zappa, and he led me to believe that the Shopyards was also had reached out and was curious about cleaning ponds, expanding ponds and stuff, just so I wanted you guys to know that, so they are thinking that way, so, just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, so I think we're both, are the three of us agreeing that we wanna do both?
Yeah, I just don't think you're not getting funding 2019 to do that, right?
No.
No,
Pond first, then.
On first.
Right, but the pond we can still do before it snows.
yes, but I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure,
That
can
would-
we tell, I mean, it's private, can we?
Yeah, I mean, it's truly gonna be up to them, cause it is on private property, but I think we can
I,
convince them into it, just because of the issue we've had in the
Yeah.
winter.
Didn't we
This
have
winter.
I'm forgetting, but you were involved at some point
Yep,
with them in the design of like the berm, I'm assuming, the big berm that was put up,
yep,
and then the ponds.
right.
So can we go back to that and say this isn't meeting what we were after? Can you use your paperwork and say, even though it's on private property, but can you say, look, this isn't really working what you've done and this needs to be deeper, it needs to maybe have, do you put gravel in these things? Does that help it?
I mean, you guys are pretty fortunate, you have sand up here, so,
yeah, it's pretty,
unlike clay for infiltration. So, I think a lot of it is, it's, yeah, to dig it down another foot or two and then kind of break up what you have with, the silt that's built on top of it, it's just not infiltrating into the ground like it was originally intended for.
Do you have to remove that top layer
Yeah,
and just completely get it out of there?
Yeah.
Okay,
that'd be the best.
so that would be the way.
Yep. And I think from what you've heard from Gary,
yeah.
they're actively looking at doing that anyways, so
Okay,
we can
I don't-
steer that along if need be.
Yeah. I just think that budget time, this fall, we can Kevin and I can work together and try to get some numbers together and stuff, and then we can do that next
Project
year.
that out.
And should we do one more thing, budget time? I mean, should we also possibly look at putting Galahad on our 5-year cap? And look into any LRIP or
That
Sure.
grant, the
Yeah,
miss.
this
Sure.
would be stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
any funding that we can get to put curb and gutter and widen that road, and fix that ditch permanently?
Put a walking path.
Yeah, maybe a walking path.
Great.
Yeah, I think
Bike trail? No.
We're getting off topic here, aren't we?
So that's for future agenda items, which is on the bottom, but, so let's make sure we get that. All right, so I need a motion based on, what we think we can do this year budget-wise, which would be, how do we do this? I mean, do we just, can we as a board, or,
To make a motion, or, I mean, I think it sounds like they're kinda, I don't know if we, I mean, you can certainly, this is just my opinion, but it sounds like he's kinda going that way.
Yeah, I'm like, we can't move as a village to make a
Right.
private
Would it be a
citizen to do something.
recommendation or?
Move to engage a local company to help us out. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We're not moving to do anything ourselves.
right?
Yeah.
yeah, because it's not on public right of
Right.
But,
property, but we can, I mean, between Patrick and myself, we can,
Hey, can you just go engage Zappas to help us out? Thanks.
I mean, I can just,
We'll steer.
I'll just leave this on the agenda so
Yep.
that we could update and,
get
Okay.
updates.
and still discuss.
But I do, but there is a part here where I want Kevin to go back and look at the original discussions, planning commission discussions and et cetera, where this, when it first started, the berm, the ponds, and see if there's anything you've got there that you could say, hey, this isn't done to spec.
And the screening as well along Galahad, if there was an agreement for trees. to be
Right, and the
planted.
trees. So that's,
Okay.
that sound good? That's where we leave this? And we'll leave it on the agenda, as Patrick suggested. That's a good idea, to get updates. And then who's gonna communicate to them? Is that you, Kevin?
I can, I
Either
mean, we
either one
know
of
who
us
the
can.
owner is.
Well, especially once you look at the documents.
Yeah,
Okay, so next meeting, you'll let us know what you found out? All right, great.
will do.
All right, any other discussion? Item number 7, Ridges, second edition preliminary plat discussion only. Who is this, Kevin?
I guess I can take the lead on this one. So, we've been, I mean, the Derricks, they approached the plan commission here a couple months ago, kind of got their initial thoughts. And now they're looking at, this will be discussed tomorrow night at the plan commission meeting. And they've submitted all their preliminary plat and then the construction plans that go along with that. And I think Melissa's provided you some of those documents. It is a little bit of a change from their original plat of the whole development. It was- It's gonna be, originally it was constructed in 4 phases, so this would be actually the third phase of that development. Originally, we were just looking at doing single-family homes. With what they're proposing now, it's gonna be twin homes. So instead of 16 single-family residential lots, now it's proposed at 32. So you'll have a common wall between the 2 twin homes with separate ownerships on individual lots. Apparently, they've been doing this in New Richmond, and they've had a real strong interest from people looking at those kind of structures now.
Yeah.
And, overall, the only thing that's really changed is the configuration of lots, the street layouts, all that is basically the same. So this would be an extension off of 10th Street to the north, and it would tie into Adam Drive, which is out in the township. There'd be a connection point now.
This is literally the corner of our land, huh?
Yeah, yep, corporate boundaries being just to the north.
One of the things that is a big change going from 16 to 32 lots is the amount of traffic that will be
Yep.
traveling down that 10th Street North.
Right. Yeah, and that was some of the discussion that was held at that concept review stage a couple months ago. So,
Is the planning commission pushing back on this number at all?
I mean, there was discussion about it. They weren't real crazy about the driveways, how they were aligned. They were like right across from each
No
other. So,
offsets.
yeah, so they provided offsets now.
I see.
Concern, with people backing up and,
Right,
those types of things. I mean, you will have another connection point to the north, so some of these residents will have kind of a two-way, either go to the north or to the south, so alleviate some of the traffic, but you're gonna have additional units in the area. There is a provision for a trail, between a couple of the units up in that northeast corner, and there's a water main that's gonna be underneath that.
where's
So,
the trail?
it's in between,
Oh, I see,
yeah, it's an 8-foot asphaltic trail.
yeah,
And, there's always been discussion, the parcel to the east, which is owned by the Zappas, that'll be developed down the road. So we're just providing for a water main loop.
is that the 40 acres,
Yeah.
the Zappa 40,
Yeah, you can see it up on the map there,
original?
the yellow part. That's been all annexed into the village limits.
Okay,
But that someday down the road, it will be some development. It's just a matter of when.
so on here, it's over here?
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's a water main that's proposed in that area, and then the trail that'll connect to future ones to the east. Just one thing of note,
Park, if you've been up there.
Yeah.
when that fourth phase comes in,
yeah,
that'll have to be a booster. There's been provisions provided in the bathhouse,
Terrible
space
villas
in there.
for all the
Yeah.
single
But once we get into that fourth phase, then that booster station will have to be put in because the static pressures are gonna get too low because of the topography.
okay, and the fourth phase is all this future?
Right, right.
How many homes are in that future?
You would have to count them up, but I don't know. Right offhand.
20? Approximately?
Yep, 20.
Okay.
Those as of now are still being looked at as being single family.
And then two more questions. Is there any talk about the road connecting to Cratley, like any connection back in this area to Cratley?
Yeah, that would come forth with Zappa parcel. Yep. To come around and loop back down into the Cratley Lane.
And then when something is zoned, planned, projected, the gray color, just a definition of that just leaves it open where it could be single home or,
Yep.
in this case, they're wanting twin homes. So
Right.
it just left it open for them.
Right. That's part of that PDD, plan development, and there's a lot of flexibility when you get into that zoning district with setbacks and lots and all of that. Just kind of, there is a new, because it is a change, the development plan narrative.
Yes.
There's a document that's been provided, and that'll be considered tomorrow night, and that
Okay.
kind of outlines truly what they're looking for: setbacks, lot sizes, twin homes, how many, all of those types of things. So there's a revised document that's different from when the original one was approved.
And that revised one, is that available online or yeah,
Yeah, Melissa has a copy of it,
Okay.
should you want
is
to.
that this one right here?
It's actually a 4-page.
4-page, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
so, and I can give you my copy if you'd,
okay,
If you'd
thank
like.
you.
so.
I can ask Melissa.
But some of the things that, Patrick and I were talking about, we're gonna have to put new streetlights up there.
We?
Well, the developer will
Someone
have
is.
to,
They're gonna be responsible for them?
yes. There's sidewalk that's proposed.
Okay,
That's on the west side.
west side?
Yep.
Okay,
There's been some discussion about, what kind of lights we want up there, decorative, wooden ones. I mean, there's decorative ones up there right now.
why wouldn't they just do the same thing, keep it consistent?
That's,
I mean, that's not really that's not really in our bailiwick, is it?
I mean, you would have some control on truly what you want to see up there, but the precedence has kind of been set. I know, administrator has some concern with being the decorative ones, because if there is some work that needs to be done, they're probably a little more expensive than what the wooden with the overhead mass. But you kind of got to look at the appearance too, for the development.
What do you think?
My thought is to probably stay, I mean, there's already decorative ones there. Obviously, I
For
don't, I
consistency.
wasn't here, so
Right.
I don't know that we want to put up those big overhead that look like
Yeah.
a crane,
How do you like
Just
your
my thought.
lights?
I think they're functional and fine. I would say you want to stick with consistency. We're calling this Rigid's second edition, so I would think you'd want to keep that consistent.
Okay. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, consistency, you have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we can change partway through. Just my thought.
So that's,
That's one of them, and then the mailboxes have been kind of an issue in the past.
mailboxes?
Yeah, I mean, they typically put those all in. I mean, they're not a cheap item, so if there's been any damage in the past, to physically replace them, they're probably about a $400 to $500 mailbox.
They're gonna each get their own mailbox?
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Any chance that the post office would put in one of those?
I'm
Hey,
sure.
I've got one right across the
Yeah,
street
no,
from me.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would. I don't know that, again, that would be the consistency thing. I think mostly what Kevin and I and Melissa also had discussed was that there was some damage this winter to a mailbox, and in trying to fix it, I found out that they were quite
Pricey.
expensive.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we can say
Right, it's
you
their-
have to put in
I'm
this or
sorry,
whatever,
but it's amazing that we hit a mailbox was as far out as you were supposedly plowing this year.
yeah. So now we're off subject, but so
It couldn't help.
I guess my point being is that I guess what I want to state is that you're free to put in any type of mailbox that you want to. It's just that we have a policy as the village is
Yeah.
what I mean. Is that we have a $100 limit.
We do.
As to
We just
repair.
raised that. When I've
Yeah.
been on the board, we raised
Yeah.
that.
So that is our limit. You can put in whatever kind of mailbox you want, but if there's damage or whatever, then at $100 is where we stop. So,
There's just no way that we could get one of those, get the post office put in one of those multiple box.
There are some, and when you come into the Ridges, there are those for the
Yeah.
twin homes or the condos that
Yeah,
are
the condos.
Then
don't-
why
right
wouldn't
in the
we
beginning.
stay consistent?
We
That's-
can bring that up, at the
Yeah.
meeting tomorrow
Please.
night. Yep,
Okay.
which
That's
I
just one
will.
less thing for us to, snow plowing for us to watch out for.
yeah.
Yeah.
How much do those things cost, the big?
Oh, I
No,
don't-
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be able to venture what those would run.
Less than 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean if you run over one of those?
Yeah, that was my sarcasm.
Catch it up.
Okay, so that's a recommendation from us then,
Yeah, I'll bring that up tomorrow
to
night.
stay consistent. And where is it exactly, when you're coming into the Ridges, as an example?
Right when you come in, there are, like, I don't know if they're considered duplexes or condos.
Yeah.
It's Keystone Court.
Keystone Court?
Yes.
Okay.
There are multi-boxes, I believe, that there is in that court. Although the ones going up 10th, I have seen people go to mailboxes, so that Keystone may be the one I'm thinking of. The ones that are along 10th Street North when you come in there, I believe they have mailboxes.
I still think it'd be better.
Did you want to go into recess to go look at them?
No.
Next month.
I'm just gonna buzz by and see, but I really think that for consistency, we should try and get them to do the multi-mailbox unit, whatever they're called,
I think they're MBUs, I think they,
MBUs.
What they're called.
from what I remember.
Okay, continue. Kevin, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, that's, a summary of what they're looking at. I mean, all the stormwater management, parkland dedication fees, all that's been already taken care of with the original.
The stormwater?
Yep.
So in this particular area, they're putting in new stormwater.
Putting in new storm sewer that'll drain into where the ponds have been designated.
Okay,
In the park,
okay.
yep. So,
And sewer and water's already up there?
sewer, there'll be an extension that's
An
gonna be put
extension.
in.
Is there
underneath the
gonna be a
road.
dead end?
There'll be a dead end up on the north end.
I thought you
But-
guys didn't like dead ends.
Well, they try to avoid them,
Right.
but that's,
No way to get around it with this? Okay,
So, I mean, it'll be provisions if, parcels to the north ever wanted to decide to annex into the village.
okay.
There'll be over connection points to municipal sewer and water, but
Okay, all right.
probably a ways out.
So, Patrick, any issues for Public Works in this project that you're concerned about?
not really that I've seen. I guess they've been, the only things we talked about were the mailboxes and the lights and, no, I think.
But, so you'll stay, I mean, who stays after the sewer and water side of this project?
Well, Kevin and I
That's
will.
you, okay.
Yeah.
Combination between the two of us. Yep.
Okay, that's all I got. You guys got anything else for him? Close a few windows here, hang on. There we go. All right, item number 8, WisDOT STP Urban Grant Application Discussion and Possible Recommendation.
All right, so this is what we started talking about at the last meeting. What our magic map is, but I'll grab that. So basically, to apply for the funding, it has to be a collector street or greater.
Right?
And so DOT has maps that are out there, and we uploaded that on the webpage so you can take a look at it. They do a combination between the village and the city.
This?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So anything in orange within the village would actually apply, that you could actually try to get some grant dollars for projects. So that would entail Cratley Lane, 4th Street, Summer Street, Michelson Street, Monroe, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin Street. So Patrick and I went through this week and looked at all of them. And looked at pacer ratings, looked at the utilities, how old they were, what the needs are. And ultimately, the one that kind of stood out to us is Monroe Street from Lemon to Helen Street, that stretch. We don't want, too big of a projects, especially with the bigger ones that you got coming up down the road. Kind of that same caliper of what Wisconsin Street, that's the stretch that we were able to get some grant dollars, same program, STP Urban. This particular area does not have curb and gutter.
Really?
It's just kind of a
Monroe
rural,
Street?
Yeah.
east of Lemon Street,
East
yep.
11.
And Lemon's the last gray line here?
No, that's probably Helen, isn't it?
Yeah, Helen's the one that runs north-south.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's Helen? Okay.
yep, Helen Street. And that was reconstructed back in around 2002.
So
Another-
where exactly is he talking about? From where to where?
So it would be about like right there. Be Lemon.
And then come back this way?
No, to the
Oh,
east.
going to the
Yeah.
east.
Oh,
Like a 2-block.
home by the school there.
Yeah,
School.
there's some ball fields and stuff that are,
Yeah,
they made a,
There is no curb there.
No.
no,
I know, 'cause that's where we pull in everybody's lawns to park when the kids played
Yeah.
kickball
Yeah.
and baseball and
Yeah.
t-ball. Yeah.
Probably
Exactly.
irritates
Softball, et
parents.
cetera.
Yep.
I don't know.
So will it connect to a spot on Monroe that does have curb?
Yeah,
Sure.
You'll
It
get to,
would.
okay,
yep. And one of our thoughts is, since it is along the school and you have sidewalk on Lemon Street and you have sidewalk on Helen, actually put a connecting sidewalk between those two on the north side.
The
You got the-
school side of things.
Yeah, you know, try to limit, you know, the amount of residents that would be affected by the sidewalk itself.
okay.
And you have the ball fields up there. I think it'd be a real good addition to that area.
You got 3 houses.
Yeah, on the eastern side,
Yep.
so.
Would you Google map it?
Yeah, of course I.
Okay, where's the 3?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, right in a row there?
Yep. Right by Helen in the corner, Monroe and Helen there.
Okay. So it just goes to Helen?
Yeah, just to
Okay.
Helen, yep.
Okay.
The rest of it is
Stop.
just
The water main's 6 inch, we'd upsize that
park
to 8.
in the school here.
Surprisingly, there's no hydrants in between. It's really kind of stood out to us. It's about 1,100 feet, so typically you space those out 300 to 400 feet.
So are we putting in a hydrant?
Yep, we would upsize the main into, you know, 8 inch and provide the spacing that typically we put in.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's all up for discussion, but that's kind of the one area that definitely stood out to us. Would be a good,
What do you guys think?
I think it sounds like a worthwhile project.
Phil?
Yeah, anytime we can improve the village, I'm on board.
And
Especially if we can do it with monies that we didn't collect from our people.
yeah.
Grant
Yeah.
money.
And there, you know, that's a 80-20 split on like storm sewer up. The sewer and water would be 100% village. It's truly just like Wisconsin Street. But yeah, there's a lot of dollars that could be grant dollars,
Nice.
so.
Okay, so you're gonna bring us an application or,
The application is out there right now.
okay.
It is on the DOT's webpage. It's just due by October 15th of this year.
So do you need us to move on this?
Basically, you just need, you know, a recommendation that you do want to move forward with applying for,
What are we gonna call this?
Do we want to, how long would we have? Like, do you have 5, I mean, once you get that grant money, you have 5 years? Is that like Wisconsin? Didn't we have 5 or?
so basically, if you were to get the dollars, you have, the sunset clause is, I wrote that down too, where is that? June 30th of 2023,
Oh, before we have to.
before you actually physically have the project completed by. So
Okay,
they give you a good, you know, very good grace period there.
We move to apply for the money?
do we move to apply for the money or do we?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what you truly, yep, you're just gonna put your application in and see if you get the
Ta-da.
design and construction. If you do, then, yeah,
Then
then you
it-
gotta
then it goes-
accept it.
then it goes further, we have to figure out what the cost, the 80-20 split looks like and,
Yep.
okay,
We would come up with cost estimates to what, you know, you have to provide that in there in the application, so they kinda have an idea of, you know, how much they would be funding, how much the village's
Okay.
share is.
cool.
That's all part of the app, so.
Well, I need a motion then.
I move that we apply for the Wisconsin DOT STP urban grant application.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
Do it.
The suspending issue, so, Lori?
Aye. Do I
Yes.
vote? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And it passes. All right, item 9, catch basin and manhole repair discussion and possible recommendation.
So I made an issue sheet on this one. We've done, it's a project, I guess, we've been doing since I started here, the flex sealing, which I think is a pretty good product.
You like it so far?
Yeah, I'm real happy with it. And we either do the catch basins or manhole the insides of manholes, and stuff, so, I did get an estimate quote from, Everlast Rehab. They're affiliated with S Brothers, that's who we do the work through. And, they, came in at, about $775 per catch basin, and I don't believe that, it might be a little bit more than what we had last year, as far as a dollar amount per catch basin. And then I also I had someone actually reach out to me from R&H Painting. They do a similar type of seal, it's called Spectre Shield. I did ask for what their, what's it called, elongation, so when the ground moves and everything moves, what that was, and I think he said they were at like 300%, which isn't that 3 inches, am I correct? It can move 3 inches,
Yeah, I know those things can move a lot.
and I think Jeff from S Brothers had stated that theirs was 800%, so it would move,
Yeah,
it was
I-
quite a bit more. Either way, the R&H Painting, I had spoken to a representative. What I got from them was it would roughly be about $1,400 per catch basin to go that way. So, and I also included some stuff as to what it looks like and whatnot. But I guess
Nice pink.
it's pretty, but
That nice little stamp they put in there in the
Yeah,
year they did
so-
it.
I guess my recommendation is to stick with what we've been doing and.
How many do we got left? A ton? I mean, are we half? Are we?
No, we're not half. No. We're, let's see, how many do we,
I mean, that's
670?
fine.
We got,
Yeah,
probably
nice
making me
sheet.
think 70, 80. We've got about 80 of them done.
Okay.
80, 85, something like
Out
that.
of,
There's
Ryan actually, had-
320.
three, that's what I was gonna say, 320, I think, yep.
good to know.
I think at budget time, we should maybe try and get a little more aggressive on doing these.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd be nice to get them done within maybe a 3-year period of when we started,
right, I mean,
because we may be circling back. How
Can
long is
we-
this supposed to
can
last?
we, Yeah, let's discuss that at budget time. The only thing I will say is that, one thing that we are doing is instead of putting all the cement rings on top of the manholes, we're kind of getting, I mean, we have to, or I think it's state kind of code now, is that we have to use the plastic rings. And this flex sealing, as of yet, doesn't stick to the plastic. But they're working on something, from what I was told, and possibly could come, something, they could have something going here in the next 5 years or whatever. But I think with what we're doing, I think at least we're making progress. We're not ignoring things.
Right.
Last year I'd done, in the fall, I had to do a few that had collapsed and whatever. We're kind of trying to stay on top of that. But I think as long as we just keep picking away at it for now, and we can discuss it more this fall, but I just wanted to point that out to you that I don't know how aggressive we want to get just yet.
Well, the plastic,
do we spray those?
I'm hoping,
it doesn't adhere to it, you're saying?
yeah.
But
Not yet.
we're talking thick plastic, right?
Yes, yeah.
And so the plastic isn't gonna break down anyway, right?
Well,
Not with the
if it would, it
salt.
would take
Huh?
Not
many-
with the salt,
many more
obviously.
years.
Not with salt, yeah. So the
Yeah.
plastic is, in a way, is doing some of what we were trying to do anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
It does.
So I don't really care if it sticks to it.
Wow. I just,
It would look nicer, but
If we use that Spectre Shield on the plastic ones,
yeah, find out if
for that
Spectre
year that you
will,
have done,
I don't
your
know.
Spectre
Yeah.
shield will stick to
Yeah.
plastic.
so, I just wanted to mention that before we
Okay.
got too aggressive. And,
Well, I'm-
and like I said, we can discuss it at budget time.
Yeah, I'm
some
really
more.
hoping that, what we do, 60 the first time we did it?
67 or something like
that.
that, yeah.
Somewhere in that.
And so since then, we've only done another 20?
We did, yeah, I think it was almost 20. I think we did 15 last year, so
So if we're gonna get to that, how many did you say?
320.
320.
If we're gonna get to that, it's gonna, I still think at budget time, we should ask him to try and get more,
Yeah,
maybe try and get 100 each year.
that'd be nice.
It's not you doing it, right? I mean, this is a
No.
company doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The quicker we get it done, the cheaper it's gonna be, so keep raising their costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, how does
Well-
this compare to the first cost we faced from these guys? The 775 per.
As I said, it's gone up a little bit, but I think the original one, I don't have it in front of me, but I want to say it was like 725 or
So when-
735,
So when
right in there.
when we go to the board with this and your issue statement,
Get the first
yeah, put
cost.
that
Okay.
first cost, so
Okay.
we can say, well, it was
Yep.
X% increase and it's
Sure.
because we waited this long,
Sure.
which gives us a point to make at budget time.
Okay.
Because these things last how long again?
I think,
they'll
yeah,
last for
There was
a
some
long
kind of
time.
guarantee. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
it was a long time.
Bring the guarantee too to that.
Sure.
issue statement.
A long time.
Okay, so we need a motion, and we have an issue statement to use.
I move to have Everlast rehab, repair, and flex steel catch basins / manholes in the village with costs not to exceed $11,000.
I second that.
Okay, any further discussion? This is budgeted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
No.
no other discussion? Spending issue, Phil?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Yes. Motion is approved.
Yay.
Item number 10, chair update. I have nothing for you. There was something, but I forgot. Item number 11, engineers report.
Really don't have anything either.
Okay.
Quiet month.
Item number 12, director's report.
Well, I got a couple things. Tomorrow, we're gonna start flushing hydrants. We've been working feverishly on the parks. The new Bobcat, we exchanged that, so we got the new Bobcat today.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. And then I
How
also.
did that come out? I mean, on the hours and stuff, was it just like you had presented?
Yeah, it was.
We stayed under the-
Well, we were under that number that you
Okay.
approved, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, yep, so we were okay.
Good.
So nobody got in trouble, so we were good. And then, along with the hydrant flushing, we have our laptop up and running. We got a air card for it, so hopefully that'll make things a lot more efficient. Kevin has given us some thumb drives with a lot of as-built and stuff on them, so I'm hoping that stuff will be nice out in the field, that we don't have to run down here and go through papers and stuff. Nathan and Jessica have also helped out with building some spreadsheets and stuff
Good.
for our hydrants and our valves. So I'm hoping that that's gonna make a big improvement, and I just wanted to let you guys know that was kind of the road that we were going down.
Nice work.
And I reached out with the seal coating, probably gonna be in August, sometime first part of August, before we get any seal coating done, so I'm just kinda trying to, if I hear more, I'll keep updating.
Okay.
And that's about all I got.
Any questions for Patrick?
No, sounds like you're moving towards efficiency, Patrick. That looks good.
We're trying.
All right. Public Works, item 13, Public Works Capital / Equipment Planning. I think we touched on a couple things we want to do, but I don't know how, Kevin, we put a project together like Galahad, but I would like to get it on our 5-year.
Look at that again.
Any equipment planning?
Yeah, and I'll bring that to you next month. I have no idea why I didn't get that, but I do have a list of stuff, things that I would like to, I guess, kind of a wish list or whatever,
Sure.
whatever you want to call it. But there are some things on there that I'll I'll get that on the website for next month's meeting, and you guys can all look at it, and it should be, that'll be right before budget time, so.
Yeah, that's right, I'm thinking that's July, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
right around budget.
Yeah.
Good time to
So
start.
then you guys can see what we're thinking about.
Okay. Anything else on that subject?
Oh, shoot, can I get? Oh, no, it's for the next one, sorry.
All right, item 14, Public Works Committee future goals and agenda items. Any future agenda items for you?
Yeah, I would like to put, the clearing of Station Lane right away on the next for discussion and how we
Okay.
want to proceed with that.
Okay.
I'd gotten some concerns of a lot of overgrowth and not being able to see around corners and stuff. And, I won't say too much about it, but I'll just put it on next, month's
Okay.
agenda so that, cause I think there's some stuff that probably should be brought up.
Is the chief, I mean, he had that intern in, right?
Yeah,
Did they
he's,
find some, what do you call that, triangle?
vision triangle
Vision
stuff. Yeah, there's been a few things and we've got a list of stuff that we're trying to
So
get
does it
cleaned
go
up and
back
stuff.
to the village people first, and then if they don't do it, it comes back to you?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of, I guess,
Okay.
unless anybody else has
You guys
something
got anything?
No.
they wanna
Okay.
talk about.
I don't have anything else. Future goals, agenda items. What's the timing on the manholes that we're thinking? If, once this gets by the board?
Oh, the flex ceiling?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm really thinking about the manholes out on
This whole
35.
yeah, that's,
This is all pretty good through here.
can I talk about that here or not? I guess I
Well, you
should
can
have
fill
talked,
me
I
in
should have,
Yeah, fill me
yeah.
in afterwards.
Yep.
Okay, if there's nothing else, item number 15, we are adjourned at 6:41 PM. Thank you.